Hello, dear students. This is an online version of Chemistry 1405, Lone Star College, and we are in spring 2023. My name is Lazaro Pino Rivero. This is my email. Well, let's begin by introducing myself. My name is Lazaro Pino Rivero. You can call me Dr. Pino and it's fine, or Professor Pino. I was born in Cuba almost 70 years ago. I got my bachelor degree in chemistry at the Central University of Las Villas in Cuba in 1980. Here you have a picture of this university. And I got my PhD in 2006 at the same institution. I have more than 15 years of experience at the Cuban industry and 28 years teaching at the same institution in Cuba. Also at Miami-Dade College, West Coast University, and now Lone Star College. I have more than 15 papers in scientific magazines all over the world. And here is the syllabus. It is very important that you go into the syllabus the very first day and begin reading everything. Let me begin telling you the most important things, but it's very important that you go and you read it by yourself. Well, here are the learning outcomes. For example, you're going to learn how to solve problems, identify the states of matter and the transitions between them, compare elements, compounds, and mixtures, apply the law of conservation of matter in order to balance chemical equations, and solve some problems about stoichiometry. Also, you're going to determine the atomic structure and the chemical properties of the elements from the position they have in the periodic table. And also you will perform conversions involving concentration of solutions, draw the Lewis structure, determine the shape and polarity of simple compounds from their formula. Also, you will identify simple inorganic compounds, identify acids and bases, and demonstrate ability to carry out simple laboratory experiments. In this case, we are going to have virtual experiments. So I will send you a video where a professor will um, conduct an experiment, and from this information you are going to write a lab report. Let me go step by step. I'm going to explain everything, but if you don't understand anything, just send me an email and I will answer, or we are going to have a meeting by Zoom. Well, here is the distribution of the grade. As you can see, we have 75% depends on the lecture activities and 25% depends on the lab activities. Among the lecture activities, we have the homework that will be in all B2, and every week we are going to have a homework. Is 15 points, everyone. We are going to have 4 exams that are everyone is 150 points. And at the end, we are going to have a research paper in APA style that is 50 points. In the activities for the lab, we have a quiz every week that is 9 points, and we are going to have lab reports or worksheets, and everyone will be 10 points every week. At the beginning, the lab report will be a safety project. I will explain a little bit about this later. Well, here is the welcome. You can go to D2L and go to content, and you are going to see the activities for every week. Here you have the welcome. Also, you have in a star here, you are going to see a video. Look at this. This video is very important. You have to watch this video in order to know how to get a code in Cengage. It is the first activity that you are supposed to do after reading the syllabus. Because if you don't have this code, you are not going to be able to answer the homework and the exams. I'm going to speak a little bit about this later. Sorry to repeat this, but I am trying to introduce you every every activity and how you're supposed to go into D2L. Well, in week one, you're going to see, as in every week, you're going to see the lecture. The lecture is a PowerPoint that you are supposed to read in order to be prepared to answer the homework. The homework is, in this case, is chapter 1 mastery, chapter 2, chapter 3, and so on. And this is in Cengage. That's why it's so important that you buy your code. In the every week you're going to have a lab quiz. It's a simple question that you will answer, and also a lab report or a worksheet. Sorry. And here is the book you're supposed to buy. I recommend you to buy the ebook besides the code, because this way you can have links to some questions that you will have in the homework or in the exams. And it's cheaper, by the way. Then go to this video. You can click here and you will watch the video in order to see how to buy the code. Remember that you will have some days for free without paying. Then you will pay after 7, or I don't know exactly how many days, but you will have some days to pay in order to pay the code and the ebook. Remember that. Well, here you have the activities in week 1. The homework is in Cengage. The lecture is a PowerPoint. And here you have the lab activities, a quiz in this case, and the lab report for week 1. Well, it's very important that you follow for the lab report this template. You have to put your name, the date of the lab, and the title. The introduction will be very short, and you will write there the main things that have to be with uh, the lab of the week. The purpose is a very short uh, sentence. It's a command that will tell you what you're going to do. For example, determine the density of a solid and liquids. The procedure will describe the activities that you are going to perform in the lab. Of course, you're going to watch the video and you will write in a piece of paper the different activities. For example, measure 25 milliliters of water using a graduated cylinder. As you can see, it's an order and very short, very straight. The data is the one that the professor will show in the experiment. The and after that you are supposed to do calculations. Sometimes you don't have to do a calculation, sorry. But every time you will arrive to a conclusion. The conclusion is a sentence that will give an answer to the purpose. For example, if the purpose was determine the density of a liquid, you will say the density of the liquid is this one. Or in this experiment, I have learned how to determine whether a liquid um, uh, is um, is can conduct or cannot conduct electricity, for example. And at the end, you will arrive to conclusions, as I told you before, telling uh, like an answer to the purpose that you have in the experiment. The references are very important. Here are some examples of how to write references. It has to be with the sources you have used in the introduction of the experiment. If you have any doubt, don't hesitate. Ask me for help and I will be with you immediately. Well, you will have 4 exams. Here you have the dates. Please try to write these dates in a system or in a place where you can remember. Because if you lose an exam, you're losing 150 points and you're going to fail for sure this class. Well, if your final grade is higher than any one of the first 3 exams, I will replace the lowest grade by the final exam grade. And if for any reason you cannot do one of the first 3 exams, then I will replace the 0 by the final exam grade. So please, I strongly recommend you to add these dates to your Google Calendar or any place where you follow the activities every week. As I told you at the beginning, you will have a homework in Engage every week. So you must go to Mastery in all V2 in Engage, and every homework will be 15 points. In the third week, you will have 2 homeworks, Chapter 3 and Chapter 10. Some students always ask me for a review before the exams, and I tell them, if you have done your homework correctly, you are prepared for the exam because the exams are the same type of questions in the homework. So don't lose a homework. And if you don't know the answer for a question, please don't hesitate to ask me and I will help you. This is the way you will be prepared for the exams. The lowest grade in homework will be dropped automatically. And it will happen with all the activities except for the exams that I told you. What is um, the policy that I will follow? Well. Every week you will have a lab quiz, as I told you. It is 9 points. If the question have calculation, please show all your work in order to receive all the credits. If you report only your answer and it is incorrect, then you will lose the points. But if you show your work and I see that you are following correctly, then you will lose only 1 point or something like that because of a math problem. It is very important to write the units of the of your in your answers, because if you say 1.00, I don't know if you're talking about grams per milliliter or you're talking about apples or bananas or anything else. The number of significant figures is also important. Well, what is a significant figures? I will tell you in other lectures. Uh, what are the safety rules in a chemistry lab? Well, this is the first activity in the lab in week 1. Here I wrote some examples of the activities that you must follow in the lab in order to be safe. For example, read chemical safety information, identify safety equipments, don't taste or sniff chemicals, don't casually dispose of chemicals, don't eat or drink in the lab, don't play mad scientist. Well, in the activity of this week, you are going to have a video where you are going to have more information than this. What you are going to do, you are going to write a lab report following the the structure that I gave you before. Well, in week 1, the lecture is about an introduction to chemistry. Why is chemistry important? Why do I have to study chemistry? Well, chemistry is so important because the new materials have to be with chemistry because they are chemicals, they are substances, and all what does chemistry study? Chemistry study matter. Also, it is important because you're going to have new pharmaceuticals and chemistry also study pharmacy. New energy sources also are studied by chemistry. Food supplies, environment protection, that is so important nowadays that we are having a very hard climate change. Well, can you think about others? I think that chemistry is everywhere. I say always to my students that chemistry is the linking science. What is chemistry? Well, the science that deals with materials of the universe and the changes that these materials undergo. It's the center of science because it's an understanding of most fields of science, and all these fields requires an understanding of chemistry. What are the steps in problem solving? First of all, you must recognize the problem and state it clearly, making an observation. Also, you are going to propose possible solutions to the problem or possible explanations for the observation. That is what we call formulating a hypothesis. And you're going to decide which of the solution is the best or decide whether the explanation proposed in the hypothesis is fine. How can you do that? Well, performing an experiment. The experiment is the beginning and the end of any problem or solving any problem. Science. What is science? Science is a framework of gaining and organizing knowledge. It's a procedure for processing and understanding certain types of information. Scientists are always challenging for current beliefs about science, asking questions, and experimenting to gain new knowledge. And all this is what we call scientific method. What is the scientific method? Well, we begin always by recollecting or collecting data and state the problem. We begin by observations. After that, we write a possible explanation of the problem, and that's what we call hypothesis. In order to test if the hypothesis is fine or not, we are supposed to carry out experiments. If the hypothesis is fine, you continue these steps, but if it is not, you must begin again by the observation and write a new hypothesis that you're going to test again until you get the right one. Then you can get a law. For example, you can say that the force is equal to mass times uh, uh, gravity, for example, or force is um, pressure, sorry, or you can say that um, a law is matter is anything that surrounds us that have volume and have mass. This is a law. It can be a formula or it can be a statement, but it's general. The theory is a model the, that can be used to do predictions and to do in order to see these predictions, if they are fine or not, the theory is fine or not, you have to carry out experiments. And according with the results of this experiment, you are going to modify your model, your theory. And this circle is always in movement because science never have the last answer. We are always getting new and new um, ideas, new knowledge. Okay, what is a law? We can say in a short sentence that is summarizes what happens. A hypothesis is a possible explanation for an observation, and a theory or model is an attempt to explain why it happens. Or set of or is a set of tested hypotheses that give an overall explanation of some natural phenomenon. Well, remember to use my email to ask me any question at any time, and I will answer you as soon as possible. This is my email. And please, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. Then never think that you're asking. a stupid question. I will be here always for you. If you don't understand anything, then you can ask me for a Zoom meeting and I will be with you. You have to tell me at what time and what date is the best for you, and then I will tell you, I will send you the link to the meeting by Zoom. Well, I need everybody to tell me your name, what are you going to study, if you have taken chemistry before, then everybody will send me an email introducing yourself in a short way, and this will be the proof that you have watched this video. That's all for today. See you very soon. By the way, this is the meeting of the first week.